Welcome to the Bearded Barbarian! Welcome, everybody. I'm fresh off my trip to Disney World last week, and I bought some things, and I'd like to share them with you. And I also have some pro tips from my experience, things I learned, things I did, and some things I wish I had done, and we'll try to do next time that I go. Hopefully it'll be helpful to anybody that is planning a trip to Disney World, whether it's off-season or on-season or any of those seasons in between. And I'll try to, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below, and we'll sort of talk about whatever types of things we can. I'm using the term pro tips. They're probably more amateur tips. I've only been 5 times total in my life. But I feel like these are really good tips that you may see other places. Some, will be pretty common, and some will be probably sort of interesting, hopefully, that you'll want to, possibly think about when you go. So the first thing on this is called the 10 Bearded Barbarian Pro Tips to Surviving Disney World. And the term surviving, for me, it really was a survival in some cases. I really don't like big crowds and a lot of noise, a lot of people bumping into each other. And that's pretty much the experience at Disney World. If you've ever been, you pretty much know, especially even in the off season, which is the season which we desired to go, me and my wife. So the first thing that I suggest is forget all your old problems. Okay, go to have a good time and start to embrace your new problems and everything along the way that goes along with it. Getting to the park can be an issue. There's a lot of people pulling into the park, finding your parking, remembering your parking, and all of those different things. Just sort of be prepared to sort of think about everything that you're doing as you go along on your trip, and just sort of embrace them and be prepared for those things. Everyone else is in the same situation you're in. There may be some people that have been many times, but a lot of people are new to the parks and are sort of experiencing it right along with you. So just sort of embrace that and sort of come to terms with that, and I think you'll have hopefully a good time and enjoy yourself. Number 2, download the Disney My Experience app in advance of your trip. If you haven't been to Disney recently, the last time I'd been to Disney was 3 years ago, and I believe the app was in existence then, but it wasn't really used the way that it is now. Pretty much everything at Disney runs through that My Experience app, whether it's you're planning fast passes, or you're booking experiences, or you're trying to find a place to eat, or maps, or wait times. All that information is on that one little app. It's free. You can download it at any time. You don't have to be at the park to download it. But it is something that's really user-friendly. It's good to download it in advance and sort of understand what's in there and what types of things you can do prior to going. I didn't really do that. We got there, and the day before we were going to the park, we decided to download the app and take a look and see what we can do. Me and my wife tend to be more spontaneous / unorganized individuals, which makes things challenging in Disney because you really kind of need to be organized a bit in order to get your full experience. Otherwise, you could miss out on some things, which in some cases we did, in other cases we were able to be very fortunate. But make sure to download that app. I'll put a little picture of the app in the corner up above and sort of see some of the different things, and check it out and see what you can come up with. Number 3, plan your experiences in advance or possibly miss out and wait. Kind of like the last thing we just talked about was to make sure to, in that app, to download the things 30 days in advance. You can start booking fast passes, which means for those people that are not familiar, you basically can jump to the front of the line of any of the rides that you want to, if those are available. So 30 days prior to going to the parks, you can start booking fast passes. If you're staying in the Disney resorts, you can book them 60 days in advance. We did not do that. We stayed at a timeshare. So the sooner we could do it was 30 days in advance. But again, we didn't do that. We didn't know enough to do those things. We just kind of showed up and see what we could do and see if we can download some fast passes. And the first day, we couldn't get on any fast passes, and we had to be in wait lines for everything. And even in the off season, wait lines can be pretty extensive. So make sure to go ahead and do those type of things. Get on the wait lists. If you want to eat at a special place, do some research and find the special places you want to eat. A lot of great videos out there on where to eat and so on and so forth. If you want to eat leisurely, if you want to eat fast, if you want to eat, I'll use the term cheap, but nothing's cheap in Disney. But there's a lot of different opportunities of places to eat and have fun and other experiences along the way. So you can go to Disney on a little bit of money, well, a decent amount of money, or a whole lot of money, depending on what kind of experience you're looking for. But you also got to prepare and plan ahead. If you want to go to the castle and have the princesses, with you and your children, you got to do that way in advance. I mean, you cannot wait to the last minute because it's just not available, even in the off season. The next thing, number 4, do the things that you love first. One of the things that my wife and I experienced as we went along is we decided we were going to plan out our week based on the days of the week. So we looked to say, we drive in on Friday. Saturday, we had a leisurely day. We went to Disney Springs, kind of looked around. That's where they do some shopping and stuff like that. And I'll talk about some of the things I purchased in a minute. And then because Saturdays and Sundays, even in the off season, are super busy. So we decided not to do anything on that day. Sunday, we went to the Animal Kingdom, which was not necessarily something we were looking forward to the most, but it was probably something that we wanted to do. But we felt like there'd be less people there. So we went. There was still a ton of people there on Sunday at Animal Kingdom. There were a lot of great experiences. I'm going to have a separate video about my experience at the Animal Kingdom on another day. And there were a lot of good things to do, and we were able to book some of those experiences. And then Monday, we decided we were going to go to Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom was quite an experience. They're doing a lot of renovations at Magic Kingdom. You cannot park anywhere near Magic Kingdom. You have to park one place and get ferried over, or you can get monorailed over, which takes a tremendous amount of time with the number of people that are there. So you have to really plan for that and be there early in the morning. And then come Tuesday, we were planning on going to Universal. Well, we were worn out. My feet were killing me. I walked 16,000 steps the first 2 days. And for somebody that's not used to walking from the couch to the refrigerator, it really wore me out. So we needed a day to sort of rest in between. So that was something we needed to sort of keep in advance. So you just need to make sure that you do those things. So we missed out on Universal. We didn't go to Universal this time because of it. Because if we had changed things around, maybe we would have gone to Universal instead of the Magic Kingdom or something like that. So do the things you love first, and that way if you get worn out or something happens or there's a rain out day, then you still got to see the things you want to do and not just try to plan around days of the week on what you think is going to happen. So that's just a pro tip suggestion that I had, something that I wish we had done, and next time we would make sure we do. Number 5, buy the things that you want the most. There are a million ways to spend your money in Disney, and I'll show you a few of the ways I spent my money. And there's some things that I kind of liked. I was like, yeah, I kind of like to buy that. But there's a lot of things I kind of liked, and if I had bought them all, I'd have been walking home because I had to sell my car. So there's no, you can't just buy everything unless you have lots of disposable income, and there's only so much disposable income that I have. So some of the things that you can look to buy, try to buy those, the things that you really enjoy. One of the things that I actually didn't think I would enjoy that much was pins. I when I'm going through these mystery boxes, I find pins, I think it's garbage. And one of the things that's big in Disney is pins. You get these collectible Disney pins, and you can trade them at different places. Every place that you go where you go into a store or things like that, they have these pin board, and they'll trade your pins with you. So if you get a mystery box pin, which I opened a couple mystery boxes and got some pins, if I didn't like them, I could have traded them with somebody at one of the stores for one thing that they had, and just sort of keep things moving. And it sort of becomes a fun experience. I personally didn't do it at all because I got all the pins I wanted and the ones I really liked. One of the pins, and I'll show you a few of them, I have them on my shirt here, and I'll zoom in and show you some pictures afterwards. The first one I got is Mickey Mouse, and he's holding a lightsaber. And I actually got this pin at one of the inexpensive stores. It's kind of like a Wings that's not at the Disney parks. They have some inexpensive off years, like last year's editions of Disney pins and some other things. You can buy some of those as well. And the good thing about it is they're about half price in some cases to the ones in the park. So you can try getting some of those. Even if they're not the greatest, you can always take them and go into the park and then trade them with one of the ones that you find on the pin board. So that's another sort of suggestion that I might have. So I got that one off the studios. And then I also got this one that says Grumpy. It's not just a mood, it's a way of life. That's sort of my thing. And it's got a picture of Grumpy on it. This other one is from a box that I got at Disney. It was they have a lot of mystery boxes in there for pins, and this is a sort of a box you can sort of see, and I'll show you some pictures of the pins up above, so I won't even hold them up. And you can see there's a bunch of different ones on the back that you can pick. There's 8 that you can choose from. And again, the good thing about it is if I decided to get a second box and I got the same pins, I could trade them, and they may have these other pins at one of the pin boards at one of the other places. So I ended up getting R2-D2 and Jawa, which are the 2 pins here. And I like those, so I decided not to trade them in. One of the other pins that I got inside the, this one actually I got at Disney Springs. They have a lot of pins. There's a whole area at Disney Springs for pins, and it's a Lucasfilm. And the thing that's sort of interesting about this, and the reason why I got it, it's the logo for Lucasfilms, is apparently I resemble slightly, or in some cases maybe a lot, I don't know, George Lucas. Because apparently when I'm in the park, which I was when we were in especially the Star Wars area, 2 employees and 3 other people came up to me at separate times and asked me if I knew I looked like George Lucas. Now, they didn't think I was George Lucas, but they apparently thought I looked enough like him that they would ask a complete stranger if I looked, if I knew I looked like George Lucas. So I thought that was interesting. I decided to get this little pin, just in case somebody, wanted to think that I was. I would have signed an autograph if somebody had gotten that fooled, but I just thought that was kind of cool. So that was that's one of the ones I got. And another one I got that was sort of interesting, I got this actually in the Star Wars area, Galaxy's Edge. And these are special edition pins. They are not cheap. This box right here, there are 10 pins, 6 of them they show pictures of on the back, and I'll put some pictures in the thing. And 4 of them are mystery pins, and they won't even show you what pictures of. One of them I think I actually did get. It's a picture of, one of them looks like the Mandalorian, and one of them looks like a TIE fighter. So these were cool ones. I'll make sure to put this on my shirt here. I may end up putting them on a lanyard. Most people were carrying them around on lanyards, but I thought those were pretty cool. So that's something I didn't think I was going to like, but I really enjoyed collecting those. So those were a couple of things. The other thing that they have in the parks that I think most people know is they have Funko Pops. And now they'll have a bunch of Star Wars random Funko Pops, but they also have special edition Funko Pops of places where you could only get it in the Disney park. And this one is from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's Rocket, and he's holding a Walkman. You can't really see the Walkman too well, but this is the Funko Pop that you can sort of see. And you can see the sticker. It's an exclusive. So look for this sticker when you're in Disney if you want to get one. There was another one in the Galaxy's Edge area that I did not get. I didn't want to tote it around all day, which I'll talk a little bit about. And so I didn't end up getting that one. But actually, that one is available on the Disney store. This one, I don't believe is. This one actually is exclusive to get into the park. So it's not cheap to buy these Funkos in Disney, too. I believe they're like 25 bucks. Usually a Funko's 12 bucks, 15 bucks. So you got to pay up a little bit. But I was glad to add that to my collection. And then a couple other things, really, I didn't get at Disney, but while I was there, I decided to get them. I went to a flea market, and you got to be real careful that you're not getting something fake, and I hope I didn't make a horrible mistake, but I believe these are legitimate ones. I got a couple Freddie Funkos. The first one is a Freddie Funko. It's an 800 piece, and it's from the Comic-Con for 2019, I believe it is. And he's wearing like a leather jacket, and he's wearing a white shirt. It looks like Fonzie. I'm not sure if that's the thing. It's from Fun Days 2018. Okay, it's a convention exclusive. And this is a limited edition to 800, okay? And this is currently going for $60. I paid $5 over that. You gotta pay a little bit of a markup on some of these sometimes when you do those. So I got that. And then I also got another Freddie Funko because I didn't have any Freddie Funkos in my collection. And this is him, it's a Funko exclusive, and this is him in a spacesuit. And I just thought it was cool. It's not very expensive. It's going for like $23, I believe, right now. And I got that while I was down in the Orlando area too. So I just thought that those were cool. So those aren't really Disney's, these aren't, but it was while I was in the area. So I just thought I'd add those. Anyway, back to our list. Number 6, take rest breaks, either day-long rest breaks or throughout the day. It can be a very long day if you go from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. The Disney parks open at different times. It was basically 8 o'clock to like 9 o'clock at night. So that's like 13 hours, and in some cases it can be a lot longer. You're standing a lot of times. There's seats there, but everybody's sitting in them. So you don't have a lot of places to sit sometimes. And, trying to find a place to sit and eat, it can be a challenge. So just take rest breaks. Some people will stay at the resorts and go back to the resorts and stay throughout the day. But at the very least, I would just suggest going into a movie or something like that. One of the things we did at Star Wars, they actually had a little Star Wars film. It was a documentary. It wasn't that great. It's kind of boring. I was glad to have a chair. And it was in air conditioning. And so that day it got a little warm. Some days got really cool and some days got really warm. So that was something. So just take some rest breaks. Don't try to get, be like you're at a buffet. I have a tendency when I go to a buffet, I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm going to eat everything I can eat. And all you do is end up hurting yourself. And it's the same thing when you go to the things. You're just running yourself ragged. And if you're planning on taking no breaks throughout the week, you're just going to be worn out. Number 7, order food through the Disney app and then go to the mobile pickup line. Okay, there's a couple different ways. If you're going to a sit-down restaurant, just book the restaurant in advance, just like what we're talking about with the Fast Pass passes. But if you're going to just go to a place and get yourself a burger and a hot dog and fries or whatever it is, there in the actual app, there's a place where you can order your food in advance. You don't have to be at the place. You could be 500 feet away from it if you know you're going to go there and do it. You can put your credit card in there if you want to go through all that, and then just order the things that you want to order, and then just hit OK. And then you can either go and find a seat, and then when it's time to take a seat, get up. The app will tell you your food's ready, and you just go up and get your food. Otherwise, you end up waiting in line. There was a long line in a lot of cases for people getting food, and this way, you are actually able to find a seat and you're waiting for your food and you just go up and get your food. It's all paid for. There's no transactions. Makes it real simple. So that's just a suggestion I have if you want to get some of that fast food stuff, and just do it that way. Because otherwise, I was surprised more people weren't doing that. There were a number of people, but most people seemed like they still wanted to wait in line. There were still a lot of older people that aren't as tech savvy, and there's maybe some other people that just didn't want to be bothered with it. I just thought it was a lot less bothered to do it that way. So that's just a suggestion that you can, and again, it's in that same app. It's all together in that same app. So Disney did a decent job with the app. They got some tinkering to do and some improvements, but the app was pretty good. Number 8, prepare to walk. Either you're going to walk or you're going to get a wheelchair, okay? Unless you don't want to go to all parts of the park, you're going to end up walking around the park. Because if you walk to a part of the park and say, I'm going to do everything in this area, the wait lines are tremendous. Some of the wait lines in one of the areas we went to, when we were at Animal Kingdom and we were trying to get on the Avatar ride, it was 180 minutes, 3 hours. And this is off season, supposedly. 3-hour wait line for that, and we didn't want to wait it, so we decided to go there for a while and then leave, and then we sort of let it play out, and we were actually able to get in a wait line that I think was like 50 minutes or 60 minutes, which was good for that particular ride. So sometimes you're walking sort of counterintuitively away from the areas where you need to just to save yourself time. Or if you can't do it, as 3 years ago, I had a problem with my foot and I had to get a wheelchair, and my wife was nice enough to push me around and so on and so forth. Get a wheelchair or get one of those little carts, because I'm telling you, if you're struggling, you're not going to get to see much at the park. So just recommendation, prepare to walk, get yourself some nice shoes and have fun at the park, but you can't just expect to just, I'm going to plan my route. If you do that, it's probably going to be a big struggle for you. Number 9, ask multiple people the same question or / get a second opinion. So just like going to the doctor's office, when someone tells you something you don't like, go get a second opinion. So, we would ask a couple people, and there was obviously some new employees at the park. In some cases, we asked them, and they're like, oh, it's not this, it's that, and it didn't sound right to us. So we went and asked another person, and they told us something different. So sometimes it's better if you're really confused, you don't know where something is or what something costs or whatever it is, ask one person, and if they sort of struggle a little bit and you sort of look confused, say thank you and go find someone else to ask the same question, to make sure that you're not sent somewhere else. One time we were almost sent to the other side of the park to see something that we really wanted to see, and we would have missed it if we didn't ask a second person. So that's just a suggestion. Try to, sometimes you may need to do some of those things. And then number 10, which is one you probably will never see at any other list, but it's specifically on the Barbarian pro tip. Look grumpy and menacing, AKA be a barbarian. When you go to the Disney World, be a barbarian. Well, now what does that mean? What that means is sometimes you need to hold your ground a little bit. I saw more line cutting in that Disney than I have ever seen at any place before. It is so frustrating. You've been standing in line for 50 minutes and 60 minutes. I'm not talking about people in fast passes. That's fine. That's all legitimate. It's people, I'm going to go get in line for an hour, and then all my 12 children are going to cut in front of everyone and get in line and ahead of you. And it's so frustrating because you've been waiting patiently. And this happens a lot. And once one group of people see it, another group of people see it. So sometimes you need to sort of, I'm not trying to suggest make a confrontation, but sort of stand your ground a bit and know that you're annoyed. And sort of do that. Another thing that, as far as a barbarian, when you go to some place to sit and eat, half the people are just sitting. They're not eating. They're just sitting because they need a rest and there's no place to sit in the park. And that can be, you understand because you're looking for a place to sit, but you're looking for a place to sit and eat. So one of the things that I would suggest is if you see someone either wrapping up their food or they're just sitting and chilling and there's a couple empty seats, sit down. Go sit down at their table and start eating. Okay? And if you look menacing and you're eating, they're either going to not bother you because they're scared of you, or they're going to just we've had enough of this, and they get up and you've gotten your chair. Okay? I'm not suggesting for you to intimidate anyone. Just look a little crazy and a little menacing, and I think you'll be doing pretty good for yourself. So that's a good suggestion. That's a pro tip. You're not going to find that pro tip anywhere else. Right here. That's where you find those special pro tips. Thank you again for visiting my channel. This has been something that's a little bit different. I hadn't planned on doing this video, but I said, I really wish I had known these things before I went. And I just thought that this might be something that would be good to share. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. So like the video, comment for whatever suggestions you have. If you like my Funkos that I got, I paid up a little money for my Funkos. But I'm gonna, but I enjoyed collecting these. This was a really cool one that you can only get in the park. So I just thought that was fun. And start collecting pins. Pins were cool, man. I was bagging on pins and I thought they were, kind of sucky, and some of them kind of are, but these are really, really cool. So I like some of these, and thank you, and subscribe, and out from Bearded Barbarian.